family. We're going to give everybody a moment to come in. Meantime, make sure you check out the other shows on the podcast network. We're going to have a good discussion today. Okay, we're going to be talking about. I just came across this thing and I said, let me get into this. But there is just something we got to understand. That is the loser mentality. Okay, the loser mentality is very popular with losers. Okay, the loser mentality is very popular with losers, and you're not going to win with that. You're just not going to win. You're up against people with winner mentalities. And the reality is that when you have a loser mentality, you're going to lose against people with winner mentalities. But we're going to get into that. First, I want to remind you guys that I'm part of the Podcasting Network.
Hello there, dear listener. We hope you're enjoying this lovely discussion. If you're not already aware, this show is part of a podcast network called KWAZ Radio, a Pan-African Nationalist and Garveyite network come to showcasing the rich and varied thoughts of African people. We have an exciting lineup of shows that we think you'll enjoy, including
the Bitter Medicine Podcast.
I think black people require too much buy-in. Like, we constantly have to sell black people on things that are beneficial to black people.
The Pro-Black Perspective Podcast.
I'm fearful that our people are not really studying how to get ahead, and we're kind of, continually staying behind.
The Harsh Reality Podcast.
To me, it don't matter. I think people are so dumbed down, it wouldn't matter what you reveal to them. They still are in the matrix. They're in the simulation. They're going to keep doing what they did. They lemmings. So to me, it don't matter, man.
The Learning Curve Podcast.
Sexual access has never given you economic empowerment. The only person who has ever been economically empowered by a sexual relationship is the wasp and his woman.
The Cathedra Cheek Show.
When we start rising up to fight for our own, I guarantee you they'll stop doing what they're doing. I guarantee you they would have let their brother go. They was waiting to see what black folks was going to do.
Brother Bakari Podcast.
Black people love to claim folks that hate them, right? They're a slave master, and they are ashamed of who they really are.
The Forecast Radio.
Like, if you pray to the same deity as, like, your enemy, and that God blesses your enemy more than you may want to reconsider who you praying to,
And Tanzan, African Mind.
Africans generally are welcoming of everyone. Sometimes, to my consternation, I think that they should be less, welcoming.
If you love our podcast network, we would be grateful if you could rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. Follow us on social media, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and check out our website at www.kwazradio.com for more information. Thank you for tuning in. And now, back to the program.
All right, peace. So this is the conversation that I'm going to be looking into. Let me actually zoom in. I didn't realize it was so small. Let me zoom in a little more. Damn, okay. So it's still not great, but I'm going to just make the screen a little bigger. And that's it. So this is a subreddit called Atheism. And I don't know, some brother was one time talking to me about atheism. He was like, how are you an atheist if you don't follow so forth? And I was like, what? I never heard of it. So I was like, let me check it out. And, it's not great. It's not good, but, it's on my feed. So sometimes I look at it. But I think this conversation right here, now apparently I'm guessing this is a white woman, right? But this conversation right here just triggered in me, not a memory, but an idea, It triggered in me how a lot of times, like there's certain, like, how you put it? There's certain personalities, okay? Like what I do is I'm kind of a statistician, okay? I believe in statistics, Okay, and that's my religion, statistics. Chance. Like I told you guys before, when I was in university, I had a thermodynamics professor who said something to me that really opened my eyes. He was like, you know what? Thermodynamics is the only real science, only real discipline in physics. How like gravity, people say the theory of gravity, or the theory of relativity, right? Say that, when people say, hey man, a theory means that it's just, blah, 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 right? Like a theory is not a blah, blah. People tell you that theory is not the same as a law, okay? In the sense that it's just an idea. It's just somebody imagined it. And that's true, Like how we understand gravity, might be consistent with what we observe, but it's still not completely explained. You know what I mean? Like, for instance, some people would say, well, like, for instance, what drives the force of gravity? Okay? And some people would think maybe it's gravitons. Okay? But have they ever observed gravitons? No. Okay? So that's why it's a theory, because it's like, well, why is gravity the way it is? Now, obviously, some people might say, well, it's the curvature of space-time, right? But then that's another thing. It's like, can you observe the curvature of space-time? But here's the thing. He was like, yeah, all these other things are theories. But when it comes to thermodynamics, there's the 3 laws of thermodynamics. Not the theory of thermodynamics, the 3 laws of thermodynamics, right? And, that kind of like stuck with me. Now, of course, to somebody, it might not sound as inspirational as it was. But of course, I was like a 18-year-old boy at the time. You know what I mean? I just got chin on my. I just got beard. Just got hair on my chin. You know what I mean? Like, for me, it was kind of awe-inspiring. But basically, he's like, look, it's statistical mechanics, right? And so when I go through the world, I'll put it that way. When I go through the world, I'm looking at things from a statistical standpoint, right? I look at things not as something that's fatalistic, not as something that's deterministic, but as something that could happen. You know what I mean? Like if I cross the street on a busy highway, I could get hit by a car. If I cross the street when there's no cars at all, I'm probably not gonna get hit by a car. You know what I mean? If I walk, and that's the way statistics works. You do things that have a favorable statistical outcome. In fact, I just told you guys. I didn't tell you guys, but when it comes to anyway, that's not important. But the point is this. I go by statistics. Now, here's the thing about this subject matter, right? There's a way that Christians operate and a way that atheists operate. And because Christians operate, especially in this country, not this country, but in America, because this is about America, right? The way that Christians operate is confident, because they're the majority there. They operate confident. They operate, with no doubt, even if what they believe is nonsense, no doubt. And then the atheist, who I believe has the superior belief between the two, has doubt, has hesitation, has tact. And because of that, right? Tact in a weak sense, and because of that, like the Christian's gonna win in that region, and moreover, right? It just reminds me of how we as African people operate, and how we as African people must stop operating. But I want to read you guys this person's this white woman's confessions. Right? And then, of course, I'm going to read my admonishment of her. But before that, let me see if there's anybody in the chat. There's nobody in the chat, but that's okay. I understand. I understand. So, says, because it's probably it's 12:30 over where you guys are, but it's late where I'm at. And I shouldn't say you guys, but most people in America, it's 12:30 where they're at. For me, it's 8:30. So it's and that's one of the big issues with being in Africa, is that your time zone's all messed up. But not messed up, but you get what I'm saying. It's like if you're engaging in the Western Hemisphere, it's like it's really hard. All right, so anyway, my child has been indoctrinated, and I don't know what to do about it. Now again, this is like What are you talking about? But he says, my parents pushed religion, Christianity on me growing up, and I always rejected it. I don't want to push my non-beliefs on my children. I want them to decide already. Now again, the Christians, you already see the difference. Look, you already see the difference. The Christian parent says, I have a belief, I don't want my children to decide. Okay? The Christian parent knows that there's Islam. They know that there's atheism. They know that there's Judaism. They know that there's Buddhism. They know that there's Taoism. Oh, the Christians know this stuff. It's not like they've never heard of any other religions. Christians know of other religions. They go to war with other religions. In fact, the Christian book tells you about other religions and tells you about other beliefs that existed at that point in time. But the parent doesn't say, hey, look, I want you to decide. Right? The parent says, hey, look, here's the religion. And of course that some of the kids reject it, but some of them don't. Most don't. And this is the thing about it's strategic. Most don't reject it. So, let's say you got a 80% turnover. Why change it? Now, this parent says, I don't want to push my non-beliefs on my children already. So here's what happens. She says, but my 7-year-old is too young to understand and he is being brainwashed and indoctrinated. So the Christians do not believe in your 7-year-old's too young to understand. They do not believe, let your child decide. So now she says, I cannot stand it. He literally didn't want to participate in Halloween because he thought it would make God mad. He doesn't want to ask for presents for Christmas because all he cares about is Jesus' birthday. Now again, if you're an atheist for whatever reason, why are you celebrating Christmas anyway? But whatever, do you? You know what I mean? Like, I don't do that. When my son talks about Christmas, I say, we don't celebrate that. That's what I tell him. In fact, he was talking about Thanksgiving. I was like, that's an American holiday. We're not in America. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, that's another thing altogether. Oh, we got one viewer. Let yourself be known. Shout out. All right. He doesn't want to ask for presents for Christmas because all he cares about is Jesus' birthday. Like, are you kidding me? Now, of course, that's already on her, but whatever it is. This is all coming from his friends at school. He's in 2nd grade now, but this started in kindergarten. So this is 3 years. Right? Yeah, I'm doing it right. 3 years of indoctrination. She's like, Anyway, his friends told him they couldn't be friends with him if he didn't believe in a God. Okay, and of course you see the capital letter and the whatever, but this is quote unquote atheist, right? Whatever. But she says, we have had lengthy discussions with him explaining how many differing religions there are, toxicity that can take place in religious institutions, etc. He is very intelligent, inquisitive, and mature for his age, so the questions and conversations never stop. He is adamant he believes in a God just because he does, not because he feels pressure to. He gets upset when we say anything insinuating God isn't real. I don't want to upset him. I don't want to crush his spirit, and I know pushing our beliefs on him will probably only push him further the opposite way. So what am I supposed to do? Support him? Pray at night with him when I think it's complete BS? Ignore it for the time being? Now look at this. She's offering to pray with the boy. Now you gotta look at this from a perspective of you have differing ideologies, different cultures. Okay? You gotta look at it from the perspective you have different ideologies, different cultures. Let's say the kid was, I'm a white supremacist, Like, my parents tried to push me on white supremacy, but I don't believe in white supremacy. I believe in black supremacy. Okay? And then she's like, well, my kid goes to school, and they're like, if you're not a white supremacist, you can't be friends with me. Right? But the kid's like, I'm just a white supremacist. I believe in white supremacy. I'm not blah, blah, blah. And then you sit around like, well, shit, what should I do? Should I burn a cross with him? As a parent, like, you just have the loser mentality. But you see how firm and tall the Christians are. You see how firm and tall, but like I said, this reminds me of us because we have to be strong in our belief system too. Okay, whatever that belief system may be. We got to be strong and firm. Now, obviously, I understand. And of course, a part of the reason why you want to be in the loser mentality, I'll be honest with you. I realize sometimes it's dangerous to not be on the winning side. You know what I mean? Like, if you're in the wrong country, because that's what they talk about a lot on this forum too. It's like sometimes you'll see some Muslim, some Arab being like, "Man, I don't believe in this shit, but they're gonna kill me if I if I speak up. And that's the reality, man. They can kill you, they can discriminate against you, they can do, you can lose quite a bit of shit. So it's not like I don't get it. But the thing is this is your kid. Now here's another part of it too. I don't know if you guys heard of it. In fact, I'm gonna go a little bit nerd on this. I'm gonna go a little nerd. But there was a show, I used to watch it. I never finished it, but I used to watch it. It was called Attack on Titan or something like that. I don't remember what was happening. Spoiler alert, whatever. But at some point, somebody, I can't remember who, it could have been the guy who was the blonde guy, but somebody turns on their father. Like their father, I guess was like a radical or something like that, or a revolutionary group, and then they go and rat out their father for whatever reason. I don't remember it vaguely, because this is Japanese, so you can't really have memories of it anyway. You know what I mean? Because you're just reading it or some shit, or listening to some dub or some shit. But my point is this. Like, real talk, yeah. I mean, like, if your kid is being indoctrinated, this 7-year-old could turn you in. But it's really her saying, well, should I pray with him? Right? That really got me like, all right, you ain't even afraid of this motherfucker. You just stupid. So, I'm gonna do is so sometimes I'm on Reddit. If you guys want to check me out on Reddit. Now, of course, I'll warn you, I do be talking shit. I just be like, Reddit is like a troll haven. So I just kind of be trolling on Reddit. I ain't gonna hold you. But I say, look, you don't want to push your beliefs on your children. What kind of a parent are you? That's me, Oni ABS. You'd rather pray with him to a make-believe ghost? Are you kidding? Tell the child there's no ghost talk in the house. The fuck? And so you thought that was enough. I thought that was enough. I got 2 upvotes, which is, whatever. But look at all these other idiots, man. Like, a lot of people, you can respect his autonomy and beliefs, but it doesn't mean you have to put up with the influences that are indoctrinating him. I'm not removing him from whatever environment they're indoctrinating. Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. Honestly, whoever's pushing their brainwashing on him will not let him be around him. I would not let him be around him anymore. Exactly. Like you gotta man up. I mean, it's a woman, so whatever. But you gotta woman up if it's your kid. Because that's what happens with my kid, too. My kid, sometimes he just be saying, like, oh, I want to celebrate Thanksgiving. And I'd be like, look, man, we don't do that. He's like, man, like, he sometimes says some bullshit, man. I remember I was some bullshit, but I don't entertain it at all. So she goes, obviously, I don't want that, and I absolutely planned on sternly explaining our beliefs and why we detest religion. I didn't expect it to happen this soon, but we have had the conversation now. We aren't hiding our opinion on it, but from experience, I know that shaming him and trying to force him to think like this will not work. He needs to feel safe and understood by us to hold the space to understand us. Firmly negating his beliefs will just push him away from us in that regard and cause him to really not listen to or consider anything we say about it. Now, again, it's that loser mentality. The Muslim parent doesn't give a shit. And that's the thing, too. You got to understand about this world. This is one thing you got to understand about this world. In fact, this is one of the things that put this person at a disadvantage. Or as this brother pointed out to me, he was telling me about this white boy's book. But might makes right. The reason why the Muslim inside of Saudi Arabia or whatever, right, can just tell you, shut the fuck up and read this damn Quran. If you don't shut the fuck up and read the damn Quran, he could knock you in your teeth. And if you could fight him, if you want to, you want to fight your father or whatever, he'll get the police to come knock your teeth in. You understand? He'll get the police to come knock your teeth in. And the thing about the police knocking your teeth in is this. Sure, you could beat up 1 or 2 cops, but they're not fighting to, see who's the best at brawling. You understand? They're not fighting to see who's the best at brawling. Because if you're the best at brawling, good for you. You're not taking out like they're like 4,000 people deep, or let's say 40,000 people deep. Okay? So if you want to box with them, and that's the thing that you got to understand too, that absolutely there's something to the loser mentality, because that's the thing too. It's like you got to realize, what does it mean to be a loser versus a winner? Like, what does it mean to be on the losing side? The losing side as a human species, is the side with less force. If you find yourself on the side with less force, right? And that's really, like, I don't know, just kind of just freestyling. But that's really what's going on right now with us as a people. We're finding ourselves more and more on the side of less force, and sometimes we adapt personality. Like we sometimes make personal choices. I don't know what that click sound was, honestly, but I was right random. Sometimes, and by the way, I'm a little sick if you can't tell, but sometimes we make personality choices that kind of put us towards the winning or losing side type stuff. But on the real, like that's all it is. You know, like so, like yeah, if you were in Nigeria, you know, if you're in Nigeria, you probably don't have the best force on the planet. Okay? But you could be a Christian or you could be a Muslim. And then you have a lot of force. Like if you were in the north of Nigeria, you got a lot of force. Right? Or you could be rich versus poor. Right? When you're rich, you got a little more force. But like, honestly, that's really what it is. It's just us kind of social climbing up to the side of force. Because that's another thing that you got to remember. Like one of the humbling experiences I got inside of Tanzania was that even though I'm not a native, this one brother tried to rob me. You know, not rob me like gunpoint. It was like he had a like a bike, not a bike, but like a Bajaji or something like that. I don't remember what it was. I think it was a Bajaji, yeah. And he had to drive me like 2 steps away, like down the street. And in fact, this actually happened to me recently too, and you know I couldn't do anything about it. And that's what I'm saying. Like that's what you gotta understand. Like you can't do anything about certain things. It's Sorry, I'm just getting flashbacks. I'm getting some memories. Let me break it down to you guys. When I came to Tanzania, right, I was walking back to my apartment. No, in fact, I was walking I was walking back to my apartment, or even I was trying to walk to the restaurant near my apartment. But it was a long walk, maybe like I want to say like 30-minute walk in the middle of the night. Okay, and I didn't realize how far I was, so I hailed a vehicle, and the ride for the vehicle was only 500 shillings. Okay, so what happens is I get the Bajaji or whatever, right? And I can't see in the dark, so I hand the guy a 10,000 shilling. And then he brings me back 5,000 shillings. Okay? And he's like, thank you, you know, whatever. And I'm just like, wait, hold up a second, right? And I can't talk in this situation, right? Because he only speaks Swahili. I only speak English. And he's like, yeah. And everybody knows it's 500 shillings. But he starts arguing with me about how, you know, he said 5,000. Now, it's no way it's 5,000. But the people around us are like, hey, man, come on. You know damn well that's not no 5,000 shilling ride. You know, because it was like a 2-minute ride. But here's the interesting thing. Just last time when I was at the border going to Kenya, this dude gave me a 2-minute ride. I mean, no, not even a 2-minute ride, like a 1-minute ride. And he charged me 5,000 shillings. And he did this right in front of the border police. And it's like, yeah, the reason why he could get away with it, the reason why I couldn't make an argument or nothing, is because the force was there on his side. You know, like that's the reality of the world. You know? The reality of the world is that you have to move, like, actually, just go back to physics. We were talking about physics earlier, right? And of course, this is social science. This is theory. It's not law, okay? So I could just say the theory of reality, right? But the theory is this, that like just to be honest with you, the way how, if you guys know what force is, let me see if I remember correctly. Is it mass times acceleration? I think it's mass times acceleration, right? So basically, you're the mass in this force equation, right? F equals ma, right? I'm pretty sure. So force equals mass times acceleration, right? You're the mass. And all that force is saying is that force moves a mass. Okay? And an active force on a mass will move itself, will move it more and more continuously. Will accelerate it, if you will, right? That's what it is. The forces of this world move you. So this person has a child, and her child is being indoctrinated against her will, and she doesn't know what to fucking do. Because the force around her kind of says, hey, look, if you mess with our Christianization of your child, we will kill you. We will kill your child. Because even think about this, man, where they tell the kid, hey, look, we won't be friends with you. You'll have a hard time at school. You will have a harder time at school if you don't follow in with the force. You'll be a loner loser like your parents. Right? But anyway, so I said to her, look, man. So, but of course, me, I'm not in that environment. You see what I'm saying? My kid's not in. I mean, my kid, I don't know. Like, I really don't know what's going on in that school because I don't speak Swahili. And that's my problem. You know what I'm saying? But like, you know, again, like, my relationship with my son is good. Okay? So I say, according to whom? The Christians? Like, who says you can push them away? If your son believes in Zeus, Santa, dragons, Saiyans, or wizards, you'd happily tell him that none of that is real. But somehow you're convinced that the worst lie of all needs to be treated with kid gloves. Just be rational. Tell your kid there's a real world and an imaginary world. One is material and one is immaterial. And the imaginary world isn't real. It can have social value, but it isn't real. I know you guys are saying to yourself, why are you telling this white person what's going on in your book? But white person's just like black folk. They're not going to read my book. But I say, like dreams, like stories, like fairy tales, religion is no different from X-Men and Jedis. You offer to pray with him. Okay? I have a child. He sometimes says weird religious shit. I do not entertain it or respect it at all. I have no reason to because I'm convinced. Why in the world would I pray with my child? I'm his leader, and there's no material deity to pray to. Right? And this is the important thing. You got to remember that you are, like, you got to live life. Like, I put it out this way, man. What is it? The four positions? You know, there's this guy. He's kind of, I want to say he's white. He's not white. I mean, he's white, but you guys will call him mixed. Jadena, he got this rhyme. He's like, you could either sink, swim, or be the captain. No. How it go? I mean, that is one of the lines, but it's like, it's a long lived chief. You know, I don't like how he uses the N-word, but I don't like how anybody uses the N-word, real talk, so it's whatever. But it's like, here's something that, you could either lead, follow, or get out the way, right? And then he goes, make a fucking move, you'll make my fucking day, right? And I know the whole thing, but anyway. But he's like, you could lead, follow, but it's like, reality is this. You gotta look at your life as this. Are you the leader? Are you the follower? Are you the loser? Are you the loner? Okay? That's what it is. And the thing is this. I want to be all prophetic and be like, you know, all four of these exist within you. You know what I mean? And that's okay. And it's probably not true. But that's like those deep things, you know, all four of these, you know. I remember that in some of this ancient Egyptian stuff, right? But what I want to say is that you got to be the leader. Stop being the loser. Stop being the loner. You could be a follower if you have a good leader, but really you got to be the leader. Like at this point in time, like I tell you guys, the book that I wrote is pretty much the manual for leadership. Okay? If a leader hasn't read my book, you don't got to follow them. Real talk. Like, I think that the qualification for a good leader is a good philosophy, a good ideology. And the reality is that I haven't read a lot. I haven't read so many books, I'll be honest with you. But of the books I've read, I haven't seen a good ideology. Okay? Of the books I've read, I haven't seen a good ideology. Although I must admit, I did like that what's that book called? It's a white supremacist book though, but I did like it. Might Makes Right. It was pretty good. It was pretty substantive. But of course, like it's a white supremacist book. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you can read that shit, but if you take it too much to heart, you're gonna be calling you're gonna call your own people monkeys. You know what I'm saying? So it's not up to par. It's not up to snuff. You know what I'm saying? Like I wouldn't necessarily follow a black person who's reading that book, honestly. But it says, look, you're letting others tell your kid what's right, and when your kid asks you for insight, you say, well, maybe I'll discuss when he's older and more indoctrinated. Please wake up. Your kid wants a belief. Give him one. Tell him Zeus, Santa, dragons, Saiyans, wizards, gods, and genies are human imagination. If not, you're going to let him believe in nonsense out of some wrong belief that if you share the truth, you'll push him away. Meanwhile, my son is attached to my hip. Okay? And he goes, according to me, who grew up not being heard with my questions and tried to have something forced on me, I wanted to believe in God because my parents did, but every time I had a question or skepticism, I had met with a hard stop answer. I'm not sugarcoating anything. I've told them straight what I believe. I stay away. All right, let me stop. I stay away from all that. When he brings up God or asks questions, I don't play into it. I always redirect back to what I believe. But what I will not do is belittle him for being confused right now. He's smart and inquisitive. One day he will come to the correct conclusion. Shaving him in the meantime isn't going to help anything, and nobody can change my mind on that. Sorry. Yeah, okay, it's stupid. But again, statistics. You see what I'm saying? It's statistics. Statistically, your boy's going to fail because his mother's a failure. Right? Statistically, your boy's going to fail because his mother's a failure. And that's what it is. And that's the thing, like I said, you could either be a leader, a follower, and remember what she said, should I pray with him? Should I pray at night with him? Right? You could either be a leader, a follower, a loner, or a loser. This is a loser. This is a loser talking. And this is what I want us as a people to realize, that there is a way to even engage your own children. There is a way to engage the world. And like I said, sometimes you have to be the follower. Okay? Sometimes you have to be the loner. Like here in Tanzania, I'm kind of a loner. I'm going to hold you. I'm kind of in my little bubble still. That's fine. Right? Sometimes I'm the leader. Sometimes I'm the loser. I'm not going to hold you. And that's just the way life is. But you can't, you're not going to win if you're up against a people who are engaging you like winners. Engaging you like leaders. His friends told me we couldn't be friends. Why did they say that? Because maybe their parents told them, look, man, don't be friends with no godless kid. Don't be friends with no godless kid. And that's what it is. But anyway, that's pretty much the entirety of it. So I appreciate everybody for coming through. Hopefully you guys can see peep some game, see the value and all that stuff. Oh yeah, let me remind you guys that I'm an author. We got these are the different books that I wrote. Honestly though, my favorite right now is Uangalifu. Okay, Uangalifu is definitely my favorite. Okay. Pro-Black Compendium. Oh no, sorry. The Book of Power is the second favorite, obviously. I like Zubiri a lot too. But these are the 5 books I've written. All of them are on Amazon. I'm not in the country right now. I'm not in Tanzania, so I'm not in America. So I'm not gonna do no alternative publishing. I can't hand deliver the books to you or nothing like that. So just order from these people. Order from these rich people or whatever. If you want, but that's pretty much it, man. I mean, that's pretty much it. So, yeah, just you gotta go through life with a winner's mentality, with the leader's mentality, because our people our people have loser mentalities, like that atheist woman, that white woman. Our people kind of have that kind of mentality, where we're just like, well, hopefully things work out. You gotta go by statistics. Things don't work out. Okay? things don't work out unless you're being aggressive. Things don't work out for you. Okay? Like I said, my own son is talking about, some religious shit sometimes. Don't even make any sense. I don't tell him none of that stuff. He, as far as I know, he's not. Like, I was looking at his grades for school, and he's, like, some of the questions are like, yeah, where do people go to pray? Where do people go to pray to a God? Oh, they go to church. You know what I mean? You can't see my face, but yeah. But anyway, that's pretty much it, though. Appreciate everybody for their time, and